Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Karla joining me. Hey, Karla.
Hi.
Hey guys, we have a really exciting video on how to stop hot and cold behavior. And we've got a success story from one of Karla's clients. She helped her basically instantly stop hot and cold behavior by identifying how she was creating the hot and cold behavior. So we're definitely going to go through that success story. And yeah, also guys, because she gave some great affirmations to her clients to stop the hot and cold behavior, Karla's actually making an affirmation track on how to stop hot and cold behavior. It's going to be coming soon. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, definitely check out for that. It should be out in a week or two. And if you're watching this in the future, it's probably already out and we know you manifested it. So definitely check out the link in the description below. So yeah, and guys, also just before we dive into it, I know I've said this a lot, but we've got a course, a free course, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. Link is in the description below. Definitely check it out. So yeah, I'm excited for this success story, Karla.
So thank you so much, Amanda. So this video is for you if you are stuck in patterns with your SP of hot and cold behavior, on-off relationship, hot and cold communication, hot and cold dates, the reliability and commitment. If they commit, you seem to feel like you get really close, and then every time you guys get close, they pull away and they go cold. So I'm so excited to talk about this success story. It's with a client that I've been working with for a while, and she is amazing. So she came to me, and her SP and her had a 3-year history of an on and off relationship. And their pattern was that every time they would get in a fight, they would literally break up. Every single fight would cause a breakup, and they wouldn't speak. And then it could be sometimes months that they wouldn't even talk, and they were completely broken up. And it was just really frustrating pattern for her. So she started working with me as a client. And from our very first call, talking about this, which is so exciting, she came to me with a fight, and we revised the fight. And so what we started doing was talking about, okay, tell me what you think he's thinking, because everyone is you pushed out, right? So whatever you think your SP is thinking, they're going to reflect back to you. And that can be very triggering for you when you're stuck in that pattern. And clients often ask, like, how can I revise that? So as far as the pattern goes, so she was thinking that the belief, every time we get in a fight, we don't talk and we break up. And then he doesn't want to be with me, and it's so much work, and this is exhausting, and I'm so sick of it. And when are we going to get to the next level in our relationship? I don't even know if we can, those types of thoughts, which we've all had. So what we worked on is she was creating that from her SP unknowingly with her thoughts, because she would think that, and because everyone is you pushed out, it would go like a thought transmission radio beam right to his head, and he would think, every time we fight, we break up, I don't want to deal with this, and the same thoughts that she was thinking, he was thinking. So we revised it that he gets over any argument they have so quickly that she's forgotten what the argument was about. He's forgotten it too. It happens within 24 hours, and these patterns are done. And so she started focusing on the new version of him, which is really exciting. And lo and behold, on our next call, he had forgotten about what they fought about within 24 hours. He called her and they talked, and she had forgotten about it too. And she said to me, I can't even remember what we were fighting about. We revised it so well. So that was really amazing. And we also, on our second call that she and I met with later, they had another fight at one point, and we revised it so well that day that it was an instant manifestation. This is why your mind is powerful. You can get anything you want. You don't have to wait for it. You don't have to think, oh, we've had these patterns for 3 years, it's going to take forever to fix. No. So we revised that he was going to apologize to her, because even if your thoughts create, you still deserve an apology if they do something that's not nice. Okay. So we revised that he was apologizing to her, that he was going to bring her flowers. He was going to fix this. She felt like she always had to be the one to fix the relationship and the fights and always bring them back together. That was a big thing for her. So lo and behold, when we talked again, she said, "You're not going to believe this." Well, you will believe this. She started out saying, "You're not going to," but he showed up at her work with flowers, an apology, and an "I love you." Now, this came from a man who had never told her he loved her in 3 years, never ever apologized, and never fixed it. It was always her, the pattern, fixing it. So you can have anything you want. We want you to know that this is completely possible and quickly. So
I love it. Oh my goodness. And it is completely possible, and it is instant. I think a big part of this, right, is everyone as you pushed out and watching your thoughts through the day. Like, for instance, a success story from my life, when I first started dating Andrew, he took me out for a date to the horse races on one Saturday, which is great. He loves going down there, loves seeing the horses. In fact, he owns a part of a horse out there. So it's something we enjoy doing. So it was our second date, and he took me out there, and we were walking around, and he was starting to get a little bit grumpy and crabby. And I don't know him. This is only our second date. So I started thinking, what happens if he doesn't want to be around me? What happens if he wants to go home? What happens if he wants to do something else? Maybe he's not having fun with me. And then I realized in that moment that those thoughts weren't making me feel really good, and it was kind of making me feel rejected. So I was like, okay, no, Amanda, you know better than this. I was like, no, you know what? He's just hungry. He's just hungry. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's like, I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit crabby. I'm getting hungry. He's like, let's go get something to eat. And I was like, oh, okay. So in that moment, my thoughts chose whether or not I was going to get hot and cold behavior, because if I would have kept going down that he doesn't want to be with me, I would have started getting cold behavior, because my thoughts were actually cold towards myself. My thoughts were rejecting me, right? And then when I turned it around and thought, oh, it's lunchtime, he's probably just hungry. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm just crabby because I'm hungry. But then the funny thing that happened was, okay, it goes further. For years, every time Andrew was hungry, he would get crabby. And so then that started when we actually got together in a relationship, because it was if he's crabby, he's hungry. And then it was one day I was just completely sick of it. I'm like, okay, I can't have this guy be crabby when he's hungry anymore. I'm at the end of my rope, seriously. So then one day I started intending, I'm like, Andrew's in a good mood, whether he's hungry or not. He's always in a good mood. So then finally that manifested. We were going to this baseball game, and there was going to be a buffet there. So we were like, okay, we're not going to eat breakfast because we're going to eat at this buffet, right? So we're going to skip breakfast, because we would have had breakfast too close to lunch. And we were like, oh, this is like a hot dog buffet, like Andrew's dream, right? So anyway, so he got up early that day, and he didn't eat breakfast. And then the buffet wasn't until 1 p.m. And then we were driving in the car, and he's like, I'm starving. But he was in a great mood. And he's like, and surprisingly, he says, I'm still in a good mood. He's like, I'm not crabby. I'm like, I know. I'm like, so, guys, our thoughts are going to create what we see, right? Because we have to be on top of our thoughts, our mental diet. The question is if you don't want them to treat you coldly, if they haven't texted you all day, don't start thinking that they don't want to talk to you, because then they're going to show up and they're going to think that because you have a thought, thought transmits to them, and then they think it's their idea, right?
Yes, exactly. And one of the other examples that we mentioned from a client is, the unreliability, that they always flake at the last minute. So what you can do with that, you can recreate them in your relationship from hot and cold to completely hot. So everything they do on the hot and cold that you don't like, take out a piece of paper, put a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, write down things. I'm going to give you concrete examples right now of a few that you can flip, and then do this exercise and you'll see. So every time we make a plan for the weekend, they come up with an excuse and they flake last minute. My SP is always consistent, planning dates for us, always follows through, and we have the best time together. That's a great one. Another one is they're not ready for a commitment. So every time we get close, they pull away. My SP loves me, wants to be with me and only me. Committing to me is the easiest thing that they've ever done. And we're in a committed relationship now. So that's another example. And then some of the other patterns, as far as communication, like you mentioned, Amanda, if you believe, oh, I hear from them once a week. And, I just had another client, we revised that forget the once a week. She's like, I want to hear from them, 3 times a week. And then on our next call, she said, Yeah, he's been calling me. We've been having 2-hour conversations 3 times a week. This happened, 1 week later, they're having conversations 3 times a week. And you can revise as you go, but it's really amazing and exciting when you focus on the version of them that you want. And it doesn't matter if they've even done the behavior in the past. If, they've always been flaky, that doesn't matter. That's because you think they're flaky. You think they're not ready for a commitment. So affirm they're completely ready for a commitment. They're crazy about me. I'm the only one for them, and they committing to me is the easiest thing they've ever done. So you can just affirm that, and you will get it. And like we said in this video, you will get it so fast. So don't have the belief, oh, it's going to take a while to revise this because we've had this pattern. The past has no indication on the future, the current and future. So you just call it in and you declare it and know that, and trust and have faith and persist. And the how and when is up to the universe. But if you have no resistance, you'll pull it right in.
Exactly. And it's so funny too, because I was like totally just thinking of what you were saying, right? I'm like, everyone's you pushed out, right? So, guys, it is instantaneous. Okay. So when I'm sitting here thinking, oh, Jerry doesn't want to see me, Jerry's like, I don't want to see Amanda. Then I'm like, maybe Jerry will come over later. He wants to see me. Then Jerry's like, I do want to see Amanda. I'm going to come over later. As quick as you're thinking it, they're thinking it. The trick for us is to stay on the thought that we want to entertain, right? Because your thoughts they're your magic wand, right? And I think a big part of it is accepting what you've created and letting it go. So if you've created someone to be flaky, it's just about accepting that you've created that and then forgiving yourself for creating it and going, you know what, I have enough evidence that my thoughts create that everyone's be pushed out. So like, I'm just going to let go of that version of them because it just makes me miserable. So this is what I want to see instead, and I'm going to be honest, like there is like people that I've recreated throughout my life that they've been good to me, terrible to me, good to me, terrible to me. And, and it really doesn't take much. It just takes a dedication from you to just forget the past, forget the garbage that you've created with them, and start focusing on what you want to see instead and trust yourself, guys, trust your intentions, every day. I trust Andrew's going to be faithful to me. Why? Because I say he is, and I trust myself, right? I trust my intentions, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So, create those little lists of things to manifest. And guys, just like Karla was explaining about how to do the negative and the positive here, we do have a mental diet journal on Amazon where you write out your limiting beliefs and change them to your new intentions. And there's a spot for your goals. This is available, guys. It's a great book. I had it made because I wanted it to exist in my life. So, but again, you can do it on a piece of paper, but sorry, shameless plug. Jerry made me do it. He was like, tell them about the journal, tell them. And I was like, Jerry, I will. He's like, tell them. Okay. 44-year-old woman playing with teddy bears. Anyway, moving on.
I love it. It's so true. And, step into the new version of yourselves. Like Amanda said, give yourselves permission to forgive yourself. That was your old self. You're done with that. You're in the new version of yourself that gets treated amazing. And your man or woman, your, boyfriend or girlfriend or ex, they would never dream of treating you the way they did in the past because that's the new version of you.
It's so funny. Okay, guys, I mean, I'm just gonna, maybe this is but this is what one of my friends did. So one of my friends, whenever somebody was in a bad mood, she would be like, did you poop today? Do you need to poop? Is that what's wrong? Did you poop? Did you have a, like that was her go-to when somebody was being crabby or mean. She'd be like, are you okay? Did you poop today? Did you have a poop? Do you need to poop? And it's the cutest thing because, I mean, instead of being like, oh, why are you being so mean to me? And you're all crappy. Instead of giving it any other reason, she's just giving it a reason that maybe something's like going on with them physically, right? Like, there's something. So, give those things. Like, I know, like, for instance, when say Andrew does get crabby nowadays, which never happens, he's always in a good mood, but it's more like instead of taking it personally and making it about me and creating that cold behavior, I'm like, okay, maybe he just didn't get enough sleep last night, or maybe something's bothering him at work. And then I'm like, well, I intend that, he gets enough sleep and then he's always in a good mood. But not giving somebody's behavior the meaning that's going to give you cold behavior back, right? So like, if Andrew's a bit growly, like nothing to do with me. He thinks I'm great. We're good. Maybe he needs to poop. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, watch the meaning you give things that are happening in your reality, right?
Absolutely. So we believe in you, and we intend that you get only hot behavior from your SP from here on out.
Exactly. And guys, I intend everybody's going to have an aha moment, be excited to be on their mental diets and create only hot behavior in their reality, because you guys deserve it. And thanks for watching my video, and me having a conversation with Jerry. And thank you so much for being here today, Karla.
Thank you so much.
And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.